Hello everyone. My name is Subbu. Welcome to KSR Datavision first. So I have around 20 plus years of experience in IT industry. So today we are going to see about the full stack web development. So we'll see one by one what is mean be a full stack developer, who can be a full stack developer. If you learn this particular course, what you will achieve, whether you will be able to grab a job easily in the IT industry, and even if you get a job, what will be your package, what kind of guidance as an instructor as well as KSR will take care, what is the job opportunity, how you can crack the interview, all those things we will see one by one. So, okay, that is the agenda for this particular session. Okay, so we'll go deep dive into what are the tech stack which is covered as part of this particular course. Okay, so let's see the roadmap of the full stack developer. Who is a full stack developer? Right, that is the first question will come to our mind. So full stack developer is a person who has knowledge, understanding of both sides of development. What do you mean by both sides of development? That is what the main focus will be there. Okay, both side in the sense we are talking about two different technology stack. One is the front end part. What do you mean by front end part? I will give an example. Right, for example, you are trying to buy a laptop or mobile. Okay, you will be choosing different web portal, right? Could be Amazon or Flipkart or whatever, right? So take a Amazon, right? The user interface, like you have a search screen and then login screen. So if you go to the Amazon portal, right, you will be able to search it, right? So that is a user interface. I can easily, even if I don't know the technology, I can go to that site and then type in and then search the product. What are the different kinds of brand of laptop are there? And then I'll be able to choose it. I can see the spec and everything. So the user friendly, the screen that has been designed with the technology called Angular. That is what we are talking about front end here. Okay. And what is back end? Right? So we are talking about complete web application. Okay. So it has a wide variety of technology knowledge. We will be able to grab it. So different technologies, what are those? Maybe in another 5 to 10 slides, we will be able to. What is the front end? It's a client side web application, right? That's what we saw as front end. So we are talking about the front end, right? The client side web application. So we use Angular as the user interface because even if you don't know the technology or anything, you will be able to use, user friendly should be there with the controls. Okay. Back end, it is the backbone where we are doing our business logic. Okay. Simple example we can take, like you go to a bank, right? In the bank, you want to know the interest, right? Maybe it depends on your seniority. It could be 18 plus. I mean, your age factor, minor, major, senior citizen, whatever it is, depends on that. The interest will be vary, right? So that process for your particular account, if you are having 1 lakh or something, what will be your interest rate? The calculation, and then it will be updated in your ledger balance. That all the logic has been handled by the backend. That is what we call it as backend. Okay, but it is only processed, right? After processing it, it has to be updated in a database so that you will be able to get the data back. Okay, what do you mean database here? We want to store certain things, right? For example, we are telling like your account number, your account name, what is your balance and everything. For that, you'll be having a interest rate. Everything has to be stored somewhere. What do you mean by database here? For example, you take a home as an example, right? You have a home where you can store your kitchen utensils or a chair or table or a bed or whatever, right? So for that, if you have a space only, you will be able to put all those utensils there, right? Similar to that, if you want, if you are having a data like your account number, balance and everything, you have to store it in some place, right? So that we'll be able to get the data. That is the reason we are going for a database. The database could be anything. Like in IT industry, mostly we use Oracle, MySQL, right? So that is what we refer as database. So all these three club together, we call it as full stack developer. Okay. So front end, back end, and database. Front end, user interface, back end, our business logic, database, where the real data has been stored. Okay, so why we have to choose the full stack developer? What are the key factors associated there, right? High market value. Okay, why we are having a high market value? Because you are not going to work as an individual role. You are not going to work as a UI developer or a backend developer or a database developer. Okay, you are going to wear multiple hat, right? Even if it is a small team, they are not going to wait for a person who is only working on UI technology. So the mix of technologies are there. That is the reason market is having a high value. Okay, what about the payment salary, right? Because the number of positions in a particular team will be limited, right? And you are not going to work as an individual developer. You are going to work as a full stack developer. You will be paid more. What is the cost or salary? That we'll see after few slides. Okay, but in reality, in the market, you will be able to get a grab a job easily with a good payment. Okay, and we have limited workforce because of full stack developer, as we are going to play multiple role. Okay, productivity at par. What do you mean by that? Because as I said, you are going to have hold multiple responsibilities. You work as a UI developer, you work as a middleware developer, you work as a database developer. So the productivity also will increase. There is no dependency at all, right? In the earlier stage, the middleware person will be waiting for UI person will be waiting for middleware, and then middleware person will be waiting for database. That person has to complete the particular job. Then I'll be able to integrate and then push the code into any portal, which is not there right now because you are going to work as a full stack developer. What are the technology stack? Right? These are the technology stack. For front end, I'm going to use Angular as the front end and Bootstrap as a style sheeting class, right? For coloring the font with the font color, font size, and everything will be taken care by Bootstrap. And then backend, we will be using core Java and then Spring Boot, right? And we will use data JPA, REST API. Okay, all those things are backend. Database, we'll use MySQL. And what are the tools for building an application we'll use IntelliJ, Maven, that is editor. We are talking about the tool here. So tool will use Maven and Node.js. Node.js as a server to execute our Angular code. Maven is a build tool for our Java code, Spring Boot code. Okay. What are the editors we'll use? For UI, we'll use Visual Safe. IntelliJ will use for Java and Spring Boot. So these are the tech stack we'll cover. But before getting into front end in Angular, some of the prerequisites also there. Okay, that we'll see. Okay, so this is a high level, 30,000 feet above high level. What is the framework? How our application looks like in a full stack developer, right? So here, this is a, this we call it as a front end, like where we say like UI developer, right? So here we say we are using Angular. Okay, instead of Angular, we might be using React.js also. Okay, in market, like we are having different technologies like Angular, React, Vue.js, etc. Okay, but for this particular course, we are going to use only Angular. Okay, and from Angular, we will be interacting to our middleware using our REST API by using Angular services. And this is our layout looks like, right? So why we are looking into this? We are having a header component, footer component. There is a layout menu and then body. Okay. Why the page is looking like this? In the next slide, we will see. Okay. So this is front end part. This is our business logic part using Spring Boot core Java. And the communication happens using data JPA and the data stored in database. So here we are coming into Angular. One by one, we'll deep dive. Okay. What is an Angular? Angular is a web application. It's a framework, which with the help of that, we are going to create a single page application, right? So, which uses the TypeScript as a scripting language, which is a superset of JavaScript. Why we are going for Angular? Next slide, we'll see why. So, it has multiple extra features, and it is very similar to JavaScript, which has lot of features like classes, properties, decorators. When we deep dive into Angular session, we will come to know. But in high level, it is a user interface technology where we can use that Angular technology to use that particular technology, and you'll be able to view it in any device. Like you can use a laptop or a tablet or a mobile or whatever interface it is, you'll be able to use it, and you can use the user interface. There is no separate coding required for mobile device or a laptop device or whatever. That is the reason we prefer Angular instead of React JS or Vue.js or whatever, right? So all the application in the Angular, it will be running on a web browser, okay, because it will be interpreted by our JavaScript, okay, where the code we have written in TypeScript, which will be compiled through JavaScript, and it will be rendered in browser, okay. So earlier we had a question, right? So what do you mean by single page application? That's what we are going to answer here. What is the difference between a traditional application and a single page application? Okay, so traditional application, if you see, I'm sending a request, it goes and hit the server, and then the entire data is going to come and it is going to respond back, okay, where the entire page is getting reloaded. It is not a part, the entire page, right? Even if we have the earlier data, for example, like you take Amazon, I said, right? In the Amazon, the menu is there, header is there, footer is there, right? In the earlier slide also, we saw that here I was talking about header component, footer component, this one, right? So in traditional application, this entire thing again and again, for each and every request, all this entire page is getting reloaded. Whereas in the case of Angular, header will remain same. It will be the first time request only, it will be there. Second time onwards, this all three will never change. Okay, only our body is going to change. That is what we call it as single page application. So it is not going to refresh or reload the entire page. It is going to get the data as a JSON or XML format, and only the part of the data is going to get refreshed. That is the reason we are going for this particular technology, Angular. Okay. What are the different application who are using Angular, right? So simple example is our Gmail account. Okay. So do you see like any of this left side menu will change or the header will change? Nothing, right? Only our body will change each and every time. When each and every second when it is getting refreshed, only this is going to change. Okay. The other example is our Google Map. They are using Angular as the front end technology. The other, I mean, commercial people like immigration, Australian immigration, and then Citibank users, and then Xbox, all those people are using Angular as the front end technology. And here is the history, high level, right? So Angular started in 2010, right, with the name Angular JS. Okay. And from 2010, they have created a higher level version in 2016 named as Angular 2. There is a huge hell lot of difference between Angular JS and Angular 2. So when we are getting into it, we have to see only Angular 2 and above. Right now, the version is Angular 14. Okay. So it is gradually keep on increasing. There is an enhancement has been released each and every 6 months or 1 year. Okay. But if you are trying to learn Angular, don't ever get into Angular JS, because there is a drastic change happened between Angular JS and Angular 2. Okay. Apart from Angular 2, right? Any other higher version you learn, it will be good. We will be covering Angular 14 and 10 in this particular session in the curriculum. Okay. So don't ever get into Angular JS. You have to get into Angular 2 and above. The companies IT industry are using Angular 8 as of now. They are still trying to plan to upgrade the technology stack. Okay. And what are the prerequisites we have to know before getting into Angular? Some of the things like HTML and CSS. HTML is a markup language, right? Where we can create our controls, right? Text box, text area, label, grid, and everything, right? So for that, we'll be using HTML. You need to understand what is a HTML is about. What is a CSS? Cascading style sheet, right? This HTML is a markup language where we will design our page. And this is for coloring, right? So from this CSS, you will be able to grab the knowledge of Bootstrap, where is the higher version, right? In IT industry, they will use. And we'll learn about TypeScript, which is part of our Angular curriculum, as well as JavaScript as a prerequisite, right? So JavaScript is nothing but our object-oriented programming language, which is a scripting language, which is very easy for client-side validation. And the TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript, which has been used for Angular. Okay, and we will use Bootstrap, which is a style sheeting framework where we can color code the application font and everything. Okay, and then we are getting into the middleware part, because we covered Angular as of now, right? What will be the framework in UI? We compared between Angular, React, Vue.js, why we are going for Angular instead of React. Okay, let me tell you one more thing also. I mean, in India market as well as US market, most of the companies are using Angular technology. Okay, only in Europe market they are using React.js. Okay, so that is the reason we prefer Angular over React. Okay, but if you have the knowledge of Angular, it is very easy for you to learn any new technologies like Vue.js or React.js. Okay, so let us get into middleware. So as I said, I was giving an example of what is that interest calculation, right? For a bank. So for that business logic only, we are going to use core Java, right? Which is the heart of our backend. Okay, so we are not just going to use core Java, we are going to use different technology stack as well. Okay, that also we'll see. So Java is the backbone, right? To calculate our interest, like kind of a business logic. Then along with the Java, as well as it is a platform independent, right? If you are from Java background, you might be knowing, but if you don't know, so let us continue. Okay, so we are talking about platform independent, right? I can run the program in any platform, any OS, could be Linux or Windows 10 or 7, 8, Red Hat Linux or whatever, right? In any environment, I can run the program. That is the reason they prefer Java, while we are going for .NET or C# or C or whatever, right? So that's why they prefer Java. Okay, and what are the different other tech stack? We'll see for the middleware. So we'll use Spring Boot. Okay, so Spring framework is a scalable framework, durable, where we can integrate any kind of technologies for our backend, right? And then you can plug in third-party APIs, right? If you want to have a batch processing, or you want to connect to a database, or you want to connect to a UI, could be Angular or React, everything will be carried out with this simple framework, Spring Boot. Okay, so before Spring Boot, there were a different framework came into picture with the Spring framework, like Spring MVC, IOC, Core, and everything. Okay, so those things has been clubbed together, and they have designed this Spring Boot framework, and they removed all the boilerplate code. Okay, earlier we have to raise XML configuration and everything. Right now, single annotation is enough to start with your project. Okay, so that is the reason we go for Spring Boot. Okay, and then we use REST API, right? So why we use REST API? I want to communicate my backend system to my front-end system, right? So for that, I'll be passing my data in XML or JSON format, so that the UI can grab the data and then it will render it. As I told you, right? What is a single page application? The entire page is not going to reload. It is only the part of the data, right? For example, I told you Amazon, I am searching my mobile, only that mobile data is going to refresh. If I change the mobile data search to laptop search, then only that laptop data is going to respond back with the REST API and the body is going to refresh. Okay, that is the reason we use REST API, because it is going to dynamically handle our request and pass only the particular data and render the response. And then data JPA. What is the use of data JPA? For example, I have the search API, right? So I am calling the business logic and I have to search in the database, right? So I will use this as a particular layer where I will pass my query using data JPA to my database and get the data back. Okay. For that, we'll be using a simple framework, Spring Data JPA. Okay, which is very useful framework, which is behind the scene. They use Hibernate ORM technology, object relational mapping. Okay, so we are not going to write directly code in database telling like create a table, insert a table, select query and everything. Okay, we are going to use Java Pojo. Okay, with the help of Hibernate, that it is going to interact with our database. Okay, for this particular curriculum, you don't need to be an expert into database. Okay, but anyway, we'll go through the basics of SQL as well. Okay, so here the next one is what are the topics we are going to cover as part of core Java also. Okay, directly we can jump into Spring Boot, Data JPA, REST API, right? But if you are a fresher and if you don't know the concepts, right? So this is the basic for a fresher. Like for a fresher, if you don't know Angular, I'll be training you in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then getting into Angular. Okay. And I will not directly jump into Spring Boot or Spring Data JPA. Right. Instead of that, let us understand what is this core Java, right? What is a variable? What is oops? Right? What are the topics we'll covering? Like what are the import packages and everything that in IT industry? What are the things we'll use? Okay. So after that, we'll get into different high level topics. Okay. So we saw the basics, right? Right now we'll get into architecture. Okay. So in this architecture, we will see like how we are creating a Amazon kind of a page. Okay. In the page, we are having splitting that layer into 3 layers. One is our front end, where we are using Angular as the front end. And here, if you see, when we deep dive into it, we will be using this template, component services, and with the help of HTTP client, right? We'll be interacting with our backend, right? In the backend, we'll be having our REST API. And within that REST API, we'll be having our model services, right? Where our business logic will be there. And from there, we'll be using data JPA and communicate with the database, and back and forth, all the communication will happen. This is our high level architecture. And when you talk about REST API, we can use, why we are going for REST API and Angular, we can use it any devices. It could be Android, iPhone, browser, laptop, whatever it is, right? If you are using, traditional application, it is very tough to get, change the UI page. Each and every page will be changed for different devices. Here it is not the case, because we are using Angular and using REST API, we are passing the data in the format of JSON or XML by using this CRUD operations, delete or put or get or post, right? So that's why we are having this combination of different tech stack, right? Spring Boot and REST, as I said, as they have inbuilt framework with the CRUD operations. Okay, that's why we prefer this, and we are not going to write too much of code to plug in the library. Instead of that, Spring Starter.io is there. In that, if you go there, we can plug in all the libraries. Automatically, we can create a build, and then the jar file will be downloaded and the framework will be ready within a fraction of a second. Okay, that's why we prefer Spring Boot. Okay, so this is about what are the different properties are there. I don't think like if you are a fresher, you'll get confused, but still like try to know what are the properties or will be there, right? In the property will be connecting to a database. We will be specifying the database name, whether it will be a MySQL or Oracle or whatever, right? Username, password, what is the dialect for creating a ORM, what are the operations will do, all those things will be there. Okay, we'll use MySQL and then repository interface where we are going to call this CRUD operation. If I want to save the data, if I want to delete, if you want to search, right? All those API will be there. Okay, REST controller. As I told you, right? I'll be passing my data from my front end to get the business logic validated, and the Spring Boot and data JPA is going to interact with the database and render the response back. For that, we'll be using this Spring Boot application as well as REST controller. Okay, so we have seen all the different tech stack, right? So we saw Java, Angular. We said like Java is a backbone and everything. You learned everything, right? You learned Angular, you learned Spring Boot, Data JPA, MySQL. Okay, let me tell you may ask me a question like, what is the future if I learn this, right? So as I said, in market we have a huge demand because, as I said, you are not going to work as an individual role. You are going to work as a full stack developer who is going to wear multiple hat, telling like I am a UI developer, I am a middleware developer, I am a database developer. Okay, you are a mix of all three different technology stack. Even if the project is getting come to an end, they are not going to remove the particular person because you know all three different skill set. Even if there is a maintenance will be there for each and every company for 2 years or 1 year or whatever, right? For that they might be needing you for doing an enhancement. So at that time they cannot search a person who is good in Angular, who is good in database, who is good in middleware. So growth is always there, so you'll have a good future. Okay, so right now we are coming into the salary part, right? So even if you are a fresher, okay, as per my knowledge in IT industry, earlier it was 3 lakhs or something, right? So right now it is 5 lakhs and above. Depends on your expertise and what is the company you are going to join, right? So depends on the number of experience, the salary package will vary. Okay. Why? What are the reasons why we have to choose this full stack developer as a career? Okay. So very few resources are there. Okay. Company generally looks for general, not like one particular technology. They don't prefer an Angular person. They don't prefer a Java developer. They don't prefer a database developer. Okay. So they want to diversify the technology, who is a full stack developer who can roll multiple hat. Even if the size is small, they prefer a person who knows all different tech stack. And when the quality of application is increasing, right, they don't want to jump into different team and all. Okay. So they will be looking for a person who knows all the different skill set. Okay. So here I have found out as statistics, right? What is the future, right? That's what we are discussing, right? So in 2024, we are expecting 85, 850K number of jobs will be open for a full stack developer, where presently it is 135K only. Okay, it is 7 times bigger, right? 7 times multiplied is there. While when you are going for 2024, that number of opportunities will be there in all over the market. Okay. And you can see here what is the salary package. So there is a statistic says, according to the Zip recruiter, what is the salary in US dollars. Okay. And we have the flexibility also. You'll be able to adapt as a, you will not say like I am a full stack developer, I cannot write any code, right? Because in full stack developer, you know all three different technologies. So you have the flexibility to work on Angular, backend, middleware, database, or whatever. Okay. So you are easily adaptable to our agile environment. Okay. All top-notch companies like Google, Facebook, everybody is looking for a full stack developer, not a Angular developer or a Java developer. Even other companies also, IBM, Cognizant, Infosys. I mean, these are not like high-level companies. I mean, n number of companies are there who is looking for this particular full stack developer role. Okay. So this is the snapshot of the salary range. I mean, it depends on your expertise. Okay, 3 lakhs to 7 lakhs also it is there for a fresher, and depends on the experience, the salary exponentially will increase. As per my knowledge here, even 5 years of experience, a full stack developer, we are paying 25 lakhs to 35 to 40 lakhs for a full stack developer. Okay, that's what I have seen in IT industry. And after completing this course, we'll be doing a real-time project. Okay, for example, I have given a screen like this, right? So we will be developing a screen like this, like what is the header, footer, what is the business logic, right? By using these different technologies like Angular, Spring Boot, Java, Data GPA, MySQL, Bootstrap, Maven, and everything. Okay, and why KSR? Maybe I'll run through my project here for your reference before getting into why KSR, right? So this is my application. So this is the user interface for, I mean, this is the editor I'm using for Angular. Okay, I'm running this particular project. Okay, I have to run my backend also. So before that, let me open my MySQL database also. This is front end. It won't interact with the database because database I have to open, and I have to run my Java backend also. So my UI is working. I have to run my backend. So this is my backend application. Okay, so my backend is also ready, up and running. UI is also ready, and the application is up and running, right? So I'll go here and then select whatever I have typed. I'll click on submit, right? You can troubleshoot also and see, right, what is happening here, what are the errors, what is the employee object it has, what it is getting passed, everything is there, right? If I click on view, I can see this. If I go on click, right, what is happening, what I can update, yes, instead of that. So it updated here, right? If I want to add, right? So see here itself, why we prefer Angular, whether whatever I do here, my page does not change anything, right? For example, I close this. See, whatever it is, my page does not change anything. That's why they prefer Angular as a technology. Okay. So let us go to the, I mean, here also you can see what are the statements are there, how the server is getting started, what is the port it is listening, what is the server, everything you can see. Okay. So we'll come into the final session, like why KSR, right? So in KSR, we provide end-to-end project creation after completing the technology, right? We will go through your technology with the hands-on coding and everything, and then we'll help the resources to prepare the resume also. What is the project you have to add, how your skill set should be there, what are the technologies has to be there, right? And then grooming, right? Which is very important. How you can talk in front of a client or customer, how you'll be facing the interview. Guidance, we will provide guidance like how to apply for a job, how you prepare your resume, how you can talk, about technically, functionally, about the domain, right? Everything will clear, I mean, and then we'll help you on interview questions also. Whatever the technology is there, we provide you with a set of question bank where you can go through it and then understand and then raise your clarification with us when you are with us, and then provide a mock interview also. We will ask questions and then how you are answering it, whether you have to change your language, the way you are answering for technology and everything will be covered. And then we have a different kind of portal where we use our uh, the skill set, as well as like what are the different how you can log in, how you, if you are subscribing this, you'll be able to grab into this course, right? You will be able to reach out to this particular number where how we can enroll to this particular course, what are the upcoming courses available there in this particular KSR, right? What are the demos are there, and recorded demo will be able to use. We are flexible with our class scheduling and everything, and you will be having 24/7 access to this particular portal, right? And you will be having a LMS portal also where you will be able to learn any technology at any moment, right? And then we have different tech stack as part of our KSR. We are into Power BI, data analysis, AWS, right? You can see like how many people have enrolled in different tech stack, how many students are there, how many instructors are there, what are the courses available, right? And then we are also into YouTube. You can see our videos in YouTube, right? And who are the students already there? A lot of people have got the job with the help of KSR itself, right? You will be able to get into this particular URL and you'll be able to see ksrdatavision.com. Okay, you can refer and earn also. And we have placed in this particular IT industry after completing the courses. Okay, and you have seen like a job portal is there, right? And what are the different tech stack we are having it. And if you have any questions or something, we can reach out to this particular contact number, right? So you'll be able to get an answer and then you'll be able to enroll it. Thanks everyone.